please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids.
Now at 7 o'clock, the latest on the manhunt for this Washington father who's accused of killing his 3 young daughters. What we've learned about this case from investigators coming up in our top story. Plus,
we want people to obey the law, sure, but we want the government to obey the law too.
Protesters push for answers on an asylum seeker suddenly arrested by ICE at a local courthouse.
and we're also taking you to Seattle to see how the Mariners are celebrating Pride Month with a special baseball. The sunrise hour of 7 o'clock, streaming live here on KGW Plus, starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live on your Thursday at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis standing by as well. He's got your weather, he's got your traffic. Chris, let's start off with that Thursday forecast.
I've got clouds like yesterday morning, but not the drizzle storm that we had yesterday that really snarled the morning commute as well. That said, I think if you look closely, there are some areas where from our Wells Fargo sky camera, if you look off in the distance, there may be some patchy drizzle out there this morning. It's 55, last check at PDX. We'll go down to our state capital. There's a live look right now in Salem, 55 and overcast there. Now that we've got a little bit more light of day here, our visible satellite imagery does a really nice job of showing how the cloud deck has banked up against the Cascades this morning. You go up and you can see how thin that cloud deck is, right? This is from Timberline up at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood. So the point is that these clouds will erode from all directions here pretty quickly as we go through the day today. If we're not partly cloudy by noon, we will be shortly thereafter, and I've got us going mostly sunny, a little breezy, and a whole lot warmer than yesterday. The clouds and drizzle kept us in the 60s yesterday. Today we're topping out in the low 80s. Warmer weather in the weekend forecast. More on that in a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. And to start off, we check out the Sylvan Hill. There's Highway 26. Not bad. It's busy, but it's moving along right now. Your drive times are not in too bad a shape. It's about 17 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to the I-405 merge in downtown. I-5 from Clark County, slow and steady over the Interstate Bridge. Your trip in from Main Street down to the Fremont now is up to about 18 minutes. I do want to remind folks about this. There's another weekend closure. This is number 2 in a series of 5 planned weekend directional closures of 217. This will again involve southbound 217 from Canyon to 99W. That'll be from tomorrow night until as late as 5 o'clock Monday morning for paving. Also this weekend, Interstate 84 westbound will be closed from Gateway to downtown for some graffiti removal, some trash pickup, some pothole repair, etc. Kind of a multi-agency effort here on 84 westbound. So that'll be a no-go from midnight until 4 p.m. So what is that? That's a 16-hour closure. I did some quick math there on I-84 westbound. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. The search continues this morning for the Central Washington father accused of murdering his 3 daughters. On Monday of this week, deputies found Travis Decker's truck near a campground outside of Leavenworth, and investigators say his daughters' bodies were also found in that area.
Now the Chelan County Sheriff says that there are new concerns that Decker may be able to live off the land for weeks, if not months at a time. Jim Nelson with our sister station in Seattle has the latest.
The outpouring of support seems never-ending.
My heart goes out to the family. And just hearing about this, I can't imagine this happening.
Terry Frank and family brought flowers.
Here you go, honey. That's for you guys. 1, 2, and 3.
More tributes to Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn Decker. These sunny days feel awfully dark. Just a few hundred feet away, Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said they learned through Decker's father that he's a skilled survivor with military training and has previously spent months off the grid.
But our primary goal is to track him down. Of course, we want to make sure that he's safe, but ultimately he will be brought to justice.
The sheriff says Decker may have gotten as much as a 3-day head start on investigators.
A lot of our guys are working with sleep deprivation, but their thoughts are always on the girls and making sure that we're staying motivated and getting the results the family expects out of us.
There have been leads, but so far no sign of Decker. The most recent footage of him was captured on a Ring camera before his scheduled visitation with his daughters. Back at the memorial, community struggles, reflects, cries.
Losing a child is tough, but losing 3, no. No mother should have to go through that.
Some bring their children who learned of this tragedy in school.
She was telling me, what they did for the girls is do cards at school today and, just remember them. Yeah, that's why I brought her out here, just so she can put a face together to see what they were talking about today.
If only those girls could see the lives they touched.
Again, that was Jim Nelson reporting for us this morning. One more note to that report. Police say they should be able to piece together a more accurate timeline of events once the autopsy results are in for the 3 girls. And those results could come down as soon as sometime later today.
Battleground police have identified a suspect in a double homicide that left 2 people dead inside a home. Investigators say 40-year-old Evaristo Jr. Vela was found critically hurt inside a home near Northeast 2nd Avenue Tuesday morning. He's suspected of killing the 2 others who were found dead in the home Tuesday morning. The police chief says that at least 2 of the 3 people involved are family members.
An 18-year-old pleaded guilty to attempted murder for a shooting outside the Clackamas Town Center last year. Pedro Cornejo Morales admitted he shot a 15-year-old in the hand in the mall parking lot back in December. As part of a plea deal, he'll serve 7.5 years in prison. The second suspect is scheduled for trial in August. Meanwhile, people gathered for a protest in Vancouver Wednesday after ICE agents arrested an asylum seeker from Mexico earlier this week inside a federal courthouse in Portland.
Catherine Cook brings us the latest on the case.
In downtown Vancouver, demonstrators demanded due process for all. They chanted support for immigrants, and they pointed fingers at ICE.
And pretty soon they're knocking on our door for something we don't know we even did. So I think we have to nip this in the bud.
Elton Billings and his wife Christine were stunned over what happened in Portland Monday. ICE agents detained an asylum seeker from Mexico after she left a hearing in federal court. The woman's lawyer says she was seeking asylum and safety in the U.S. after men in a Mexican cartel raped and threatened to kill her because she's transgender. For the Billings, the case feels very personal. They have a transgender daughter, and Christine is an immigrant.
I couldn't stand the idea that they were taking somebody who was already in the process of seeking asylum and who had moved here to find safety and just disappearing her.
We want people to obey the law, sure, but we want the government to obey the law too.
ICE agents are following a Trump administration policy that allows them to detain people in courthouses. Attorneys for the woman say it appears this case is the first of its kind in Portland.
She complied with all the rules here. She applied for asylum. She attended her court date as required by the government. And then ICE is engaging in this unethical tactic to trick people.
I think it will happen another time here unless more people protest and speak up.
Attorneys for the asylum seeker filed a federal petition asking a judge to bring her back from a detention center in Tacoma and continue her case in Oregon. They say what agents did Monday violated her rights to due process. DHS and ICE have until Thursday to respond. In the meantime, the Billings have long-term concerns.
And I lived under martial law in the Philippines, and I can see all the signs that are happening here of martial law and a dictatorship.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement, quote, ICE is now following the law and placing illegal aliens in expedited removal as they always should have been. They say if someone has a valid, credible fear claim, they will continue in immigration proceedings. But if no valid claim is found, aliens will be subject to swift deportation.
This summer, 17 northwestern pond turtle hatchlings are calling the Oregon Zoo home. Conservationists are caring for these endangered reptiles until next spring. Look how small they are. Boom, that's a hand. Officials say once they're bigger, they have a better chance at the wild because hatchlings are vulnerable to predators when they're this tiny. Guests can watch the tiny turtles grow up at the lab inside the zoo's Nature Exploration Station. They're just so tiny.
Definitely taking my kids to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And Shawnee, you can come too if you want.
Thanks.
We need to save that little cute as a little, little button. You just press the cute button. All right. This is the visible satellite imagery. Now that we're getting the light of day, of course, the days are getting longer and the sun getting up earlier. And so that sun is now giving us the reflected view of the cloud cover that is banked up against the Cascades, just like it was yesterday. Now, unlike yesterday, we don't have that ongoing drizzle storm, right? This is a pretty thin cloud deck, and case in point from Timberline, you can see the top of the cloud deck down around like 4,000, maybe 3,500 feet, right? This thing will erode from every direction here pretty quickly as we go through the day. In fact, it's already sunny out in the Dalles, where it's currently 59 degrees, a little breezy out there as well. All right, for the rest of us west of the Cascades, a lot of us waking up to this cloud cover, maybe some patchy drizzle out there, not out of the question, nothing being reported at the airport this morning. 55 last check there. It's a little broken cloud cover right now at the Oregon coast, 53 at Lincoln City, and we're 48 now in Hillsboro. King City waking up to 53, Bend at 48. Burns has warmed out of the 30s. Now you're up to 52 at last check. All right, as promised, Futurecast showing the cloud cover eroding quickly as we head towards lunchtime or shortly thereafter. We are clear as we head into this afternoon. You will begin to feel that northwest breeze pick up as temperatures warm into the 80s this afternoon. So a nice looking day today. We probably tack on a degree or two tomorrow, and then going into the weekend, things really heat up. I've got us right around or just shy of the 90-degree mark on Saturday. We've issued a KGW weather impact alert for Saturday, Sunday, Monday here for essentially the 3 hottest days of the year so far coming our way. Of course, we've got the Grand Floral Parade on Saturday. Sunday is no doubt about it the warmest day of the weekend with temperatures in the mid-90s. If we get to 94, pretty good bet we do. That would at least tie the record set back in 1955. Cooler weather then returns as we go into the middle of next week. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and we want to start off in Columbia County up near Rainier. There's a crash on the ramp coming off the Lewis and Clark Bridge from Longview to Rainier heading onto westbound Highway 30. You can see they've got the heavy artillery out here, the big machinery truck here to lift up whatever that is that has dropped on the side of the road. So some local congestion probably getting around that, but outside of that, the freeway drive's actually in reasonable shape this morning, unlike yesterday where we had lots of backups. This is I-5 into the 205 interchange in Tualatin. That's in pretty good shape. Door number 2 shows the Sylvan Hill there, typical slowing on that side of town. And the trip from Clark County, Drew, it's not bad. 16 minutes gets you in from Main Street south to I-405 and the Fremont Bridge.
All right, Chris, thank you for that.
Baseball has the ability to bring people together and bring communities together, much like the stitches on the baseball itself.
Celebrating pride through baseball. Up next, we're going to take you to Seattle, to the home of the Mariners, to check out a special baseball that's about to make a trip around the country. The streaming hour of Sunrise here live at 7 o'clock continues in 2 minutes. Before we go to break, though, a quick reminder, we are once again with Safeway and Albertsons to bag summer hunger this year. We know when schools close for the summer, students lose access to daily meals, and that puts some local kids at risk of food insecurity. So you can help make a difference by donating cash or buying a pre-filled bag of groceries at Safeway and Albertsons stores. All donations during this Bag Summer Hunger campaign go directly to families in need. You can learn more by checking out bagsummerhunger.com.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pidawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pidawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
June is Pride Month, and last night the Mariners celebrated by hosting Pride Nights against the Orioles. Ariel Orsudo with our sister station in Seattle spoke to fans in the LGBTQ+ community who say celebrations like these are important.
Tonight's ceremonial first pitch will actually be done with our very first one-of-a-kind Pride Ball.
It's the brainchild of Mariners creative director Carrie Zierler, and its impact will extend far beyond Seattle.
It's starting a journey here at T-Mobile Park. After we pitch this tonight, we're going to pack this up and we're going to ship it around the country to different ballparks throughout the month of June to be used as the ceremonial first pitch ball in other parks. Baseball has the ability to bring people together and bring communities together, much like the stitches on the baseball itself. And every little stitch is important, and I think that similarly, every little Pride Night, every little Pride event, every little bit of representation and visibility and inclusivity impacts people's journeys.
Jenny Gilder is the co-owner of the Seattle Storm and an out gay woman. She said her journey was impacted by Pride Nights and visibility.
I can be myself fully. And for anybody, any person, that's what you want for them, is to be themselves fully, because when you can express yourself, you can make an impact in the world.
Teams have been hosting Pride Nights like the one across the street at T-Mobile for years. But fans say there's a particular importance to see their favorite teams out and proud in this current polarizing climate.
Louder and prouder is the theme this year, and I totally agree with that. We're here, and we're here to make a voice, and we're here to make it stronger and better each and every year.
Like that happiness again has come back to our community, I feel like. And so I feel like this is the time. It's changing again.
And Zierler says she's proud that her team is at the forefront of progress.
This year in particular, it's even more important to show how sports and baseball are bringing people together.
All right, on the heels of that report, we'll remind you that Portland's Pride celebration doesn't happen until July, which has a lot of people asking, why does Portland Pride happen after Pride Month is over? So the simple answer here is because Portland is already packed with events throughout the month of June. So besides the weeks of Rose Festival events, you also have other cultural celebrations happening around town this month, like Juneteenth and the Delta Park Powwow. So 2 years ago, Pride Northwest moved Portland's Pride celebration to July. This year's Pride Festival on the downtown waterfront is set for the weekend of July 19th and 20th, with the Pride Parade taking place that Sunday.
Your time now is 7:17. We are going to take a look at 90-degree weather with Chris McGinnis.
China's exceedingly happy about that. The warmth, yes. So June is the start of meteorological summer. Actual summer starts June 20th, right? 90 not unheard of in June. In fact, on any given June, we hit 2 90-degree days during the month of June. Our average first 90, by the way, is June 18th, right around coinciding with almost the first day of summer, right? Last year we had 2 in the month of June. The most ever, 9 in 2015 and 2021. So we can rattle off the 90-degree heat in June. I don't see that happening, but I do see a couple of 90-degree days coming our way. Also interesting to note that of the 80-plus years of record at PDX, there have been 36, not recently, but 36 of them where we went through a June where there was no 90-degree heat. All right, we're bringing that up because we have a KGW weather impact alert for the weekend, for the stretch of hot weather coming our way Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And of course, with a grand floral parade set up for Saturday, it'll be pleasant, but it's going to be increasingly warm, with temperatures rising into the low 80s during the parade, right? And getting warmer from there. So the impact is that we have a moderate heat risk Saturday afternoon and especially Sunday and Monday afternoons as well. So stay hydrated, don't overexert yourself. Again, this is the first shot of like legit hot weather, I think, coming our way. Easily the warmest day of the year so far on Saturday. I've got us at 89. We could hit 90. 89 seems more of a sure bet. Mid-90s, a sure bet. Record warmth or near record warmth on Sunday. The record's 94, and models are actually starting to inch even warmer for Sunday. So stay tuned on that. The point is we've got 3 days of hot weather coming our way heading into the weekend. All right, today, the visible satellite imagery, now that we've got more light of day, you can really finally see the line, the demarcation here of the clouds right up against the terrain of the Cascades. So we're right at about 2,000, maybe 2,500 feet for the ceiling here. Above that, it's clear, and east of the Cascades, it's clear this morning. Case in point, from Timberline, you can see the tops of that marine cloud deck while we are below it here in Portland at 55 degrees. Elsewhere, 55 in Scappoose, 54 in Troutdale. Across the state right now, we're 56 in Pendleton, and Burns waking up to 52 degrees. Futurecast takes the morning clouds and whoosh, kicks them out of here. We erode from all directions, and we see sunshine as we go into this afternoon, and we will keep that going into tomorrow and the weekend as well. You will feel the breeze beginning to pick up later today. Northwest winds gusting on the order of 15 to 20, but that'll feel nice with temperatures in the low 80s, right? So good looking day today, obviously warmer, much warmer than yesterday. Futurecast likes us actually getting to 86 or 87 tomorrow, depending on how fast those clouds burn off in the morning. That is reachable. And then I've got us at 89, 94, 91 going into Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If I were to hedge on the temperatures there, I would say Sunday could go warmer than that 94. That 94 is the standing record, but there's a reasonable chance we go above that. All right, let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and we start off in Tualatin. That is I-5 at the 205 interchange. Traffic starting to tighten up a little bit on that side of town. Not bad, but a little slow. There's the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26. Likewise, getting a little busy. And the trip over the Glen Jackson Bridge also tightening up a little bit. A quick look at the drive times now. I-5 from Clark County is about a 20-minute commute to get you in from Main Street. And a quick check of some of the other drive times right now. Inbound Sunset's about 20 minutes to get you in from Brookwood Parkway. A reminder, this is weekend number 2, the second of 5 scheduled weekend closures of 217 for part of the 217 Auxiliary Lanes project. Again, paving on southbound 217 will mean a closure from Canyon Road to 99W. That closure kicks in at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, or tomorrow night, I should say, through as late as 5 o'clock on Monday morning. Drew, China?
All right, thank you, Chris. Still to come here on the Sunrise Show, travel restrictions into the U.S. are now in place for 12 different countries. Which countries face those restrictions? Coming up in this morning's national headlines in 2 minutes, as the live streaming hour of Sunrise at 7 o'clock continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
President Trump signed an executive order last night that bans people from 12 different countries from entering the U.S.
This is similar to a proclamation the president enacted during his first term in office. Nationals from Afghanistan, Iran, Haiti, Libya, the Republic of Congo, Yemen, and 6 other countries are banned from entering the U.S., while Cuba, Laos, Venezuela, and 4 other countries are seeing limited restrictions.
Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others.
This travel ban is set to go into effect this coming Monday.
Now to your morning rush. New surveillance video shows the explosion that destroyed a Palm Springs fertility clinic last month. 32-year-old Daniel Park from Kent, Washington was arrested on Tuesday in connection to that explosion. He was extradited from Poland, where he fled to 4 days after the attack. The other suspect, Guy Edwards Bartkus, died in the explosion there. Park is charged with providing and attempting to provide materials to support terrorists. President Trump has signed a proclamation to restrict foreign students' visas at Harvard, citing national security concerns. Nationals seeking to study or participate in exchange programs at Harvard University are now suspended from entering the United States for 6 months. In a statement, Harvard says that the university will continue to protect its international students. And a nationwide ground beef recall is underway over a possible E. coli contamination. The 1-pound packages were sold at Whole Foods under the Organic Rancher brand with use-by dates of June 19th and 20th. The beef is no longer on store shelves, but some may still be in people's freezers. So far, no illnesses have been reported. And that's a look at your morning rush.
After 2 weeks of being on strike, striking workers would then become eligible for unemployment insurance.
Here's a question for you this morning. Should striking workers be allowed to collect unemployment? Oregon lawmakers, not surprisingly, split on this topic. Coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise, we're going to see how the state of Oregon is one step closer to making this happen. Plus, Apple AirPods could soon get some major upgrades. We'll have a look at your consumer headlines also in our next half hour as the streaming hour of Sunrise at 7 o'clock continues in just a few minutes.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
Coming up at 7:29 on a Thursday morning drive that is, for now, better than it was for the Wednesday morning commute. It helps when the roads are dry, right? This is I-5 through the 205 interchange in Tualatin. It's a little busy, but traffic's still moving along okay. Highway 26 at the Sylvan Hill, again, busy but moving. Here's a look at your drive times. One of the slowest commutes is out of Clark County, and that's not all that surprising here. 20 minutes to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont. And a quick check of Interstate 84. A reminder, by the way, Interstate 84 closes westbound overnight Saturday night through 4 o'clock Sunday for some maintenance and other repairs. So just be prepared for that this weekend. Let's get you out the door with a look from our visible satellite imagery. We are socked in with clouds again this morning, but unlike yesterday where we had that drizzle storm, the cloud deck is a lot thinner. In fact, we can see it getting squashed here from Timberline, right? So those clouds will erode eventually, but for now it's cloudy. There may be even a little patchy drizzle out there. It's 55 last check at the airport. on our way to highs in the 80s with a nice northwest breeze picking up this afternoon. Should be a really nice looking Thursday. Ditto that for Friday. Warmer weather comes in for the weekend.
Good morning. Take a look at this. Look at your screen right now. I've been dying to get this story into the newscast. A very hungry elephant wreaked havoc inside of a grocery store in Thailand. Authorities say that he came from a nearby national park and began helping himself to snacks. The shopkeeper yelled at the elephant, which I don't know what that would do, but it chomped down on 9 bags of sweet rice crackers, a sandwich, and some bananas. Total damage turns out to be $25. But this isn't the first time the elephant has barged in. A park ranger says that he's been known to make his way into people's homes in search of food.
So I did do a little more research on the story. I don't know if you read this detail. Apparently the elephant was going to take even more food with him, but when he got out to the parking lot, he realized he couldn't fit it all in his trunk. And so he put the food back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be performing here all weekend. Tickets on sale now.
More impressive than
Please
Drew's
do the weather.
comedy. That large animal is so graceful and careful, getting under and not hitting the roof of that. Okay, nobody cares.
Go.
All right, I'm going. All right, we've got satellite imagery showing cloud cover banked up against the Cascade Crest here again this morning. Unlike yesterday, we're not experiencing that widespread drizzle storm, right? So here's a look from Timberline. You can see the top of that marine cloud deck. It's right around like 3,000 feet or so. So we're going to squash this from all directions here eventually. But for now, it's cloudy, and there may be some patchy drizzle out there. It's 55 last check at PDX. The plan for today shows the cloud cover eroding as we head into late morning. We'll finish off the day with sunshine. It'll be a really nice day. You know, yesterday we only hit 68 because of the clouds that stuck around all day. Today we're into the 80s. Not only that, but you'll feel a pretty gusty northwest breeze late this afternoon. It should be a fine looking Thursday. And then we start to warm it up Friday and more so this weekend. More on that in a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. That is a live look in Tualatin. And the drive is slow on northbound I-5 through the 205 interchange, but not bad, and not as bad as it was yesterday. We had terrible drive times across the region because the roads were just wet and slow everywhere. But we're moving along okay. There's Interstate 84 on the Banfield. There's I-205 over the Glen Jackson Bridge. Our commutes from Clark County are a little slow, but not bad. 20 minutes get you south on 205 from Patton Parkway to the Banfield. And 20 minutes is the I-5 commute right now to get you in from Main Street. Also, Interstate 84, which I want to remind folks does close this weekend, Saturday night, midnight, until as late as 4 p.m. on Sunday for some road maintenance, some graffiti removal. There's a joint operation here to do some cleanup and whatnot on I-84 westbound. So know that that section will be closed. Also, guys, another weekend closure of 217. This is the second in a series of 5 scheduled weekend closures for 217, again for paving during the auxiliary lanes project. They're getting ready to wrap that thing up, but they've got a lot of work to do this summer to do that. Southbound will be closed tomorrow night from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. on Monday from Canyon Road to 99W. True, China?
Thank you, Chris. Investigators are continuing the manhunt for the Washington father accused of killing his 3 young daughters.
They say there have been a lot of tips about Travis Decker, but so far no one has been able to find him. The search right now is largely focused on forests in central Washington. Decker has extensive military survival training, and the local sheriff's office says he has lived off the grid for months in the past. Authorities also believe that he may have scoped out this area and planted resources for himself in advance. The bodies of Decker's daughters, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, were found close to a campground near Leavenworth earlier this week after Decker didn't return them to their mom, his ex-wife, following a scheduled visit.
The state of Oregon is one step closer to allowing workers to collect unemployment benefits at the same time they're on the picket lines. KGW's Emma McCarty spoke with lawmakers to get a look at what that could mean.
At the request of state labor leaders, lawmakers took up the issue.
This bill says that after 2 weeks of being on strike, striking workers would then become eligible for unemployment insurance.
And after months of testimony, readings, and recommendations in Salem, on Wednesday, Senate Bill 916B passed the House.
I lobbied for this bill big time, had a lot of conversations with my colleagues, did all that I could to get them to a place of yes.
Representative Travis Nelson's time as a registered nurse and a former union rep fueling his desire to make this bill law.
What I have experienced over the years is hospital systems dragging their feet, not putting their best proposals forward, really frustrating the nurses.
By extending unemployment benefit eligibility to striking workers, House Democrats say it removes tactics by large employers to wait out workers until their savings are depleted.
It definitely can help to keep a light bill paid. It can definitely help to keep food on the table.
House Republicans, however, have a different view of the bill.
I'm just not a fan of unemployment insurance for public employees.
Representative Lucetta Elmer explains she'd prefer a law more closely resembling that of Washington state, with a cap of 6 weeks of benefits rather than 26. She's also concerned about the classroom.
To take those dollars away from our kids, I just fundamentally am really struggling with that.
Because teachers don't pay into the state's unemployment insurance fund, districts would have to cover those costs should their educators go on strike.
I'm not trying to harm any employee or say they don't have the right to, go after the money that they want to go after, but this isn't the way to do it.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
As for the next steps, the bill will go back to the Oregon Senate to approve some added amendments. And we reached out to the governor, who says she plans to sign it. Her team writing, quote, "The decision to strike isn't taken lightly, and the governor believes the bill will not create more strikes as opponents claim."
Meanwhile, the voting to authorize a workers' strike in Washington against Kroger and Albertsons ends tonight at 8 o'clock. So if approved, more than 30,000 grocery workers at Fred Meyer, Safeway, and Albertsons stores could go on strike across the entire state of Washington. They're asking for higher wages, better staffing, and better scheduling. Kroger says its current proposal includes a 12.42% wage increase for its top-rate associates. We know that bargaining is expected to resume between both the union and the grocery stores, but not until July 12th.
A class action lawsuit is accusing grocery outlet stores of deceptive pricing in Oregon. The nonprofit Oregon Consumer Justice alleges a discount grocer uses elsewhere price labels that are fabricated and not connected to an actual competing store. The labels make it look like you're saving money compared to other retailers, but the lawsuit claims consumers are often paying the same, if not more, than they would at nearby stores. KGW has reached out to Grocery Outlet for comment, but we have not heard back yet.
That's kind of a crazy story, right? All right, at the start of next month, the city of Portland plans to enact the largest parking meter fee increase in the city's history. So keep in mind, the cost to park for just 15 minutes in downtown has nearly doubled over the past 3 years. City leaders say they have to raise parking prices to pay for road maintenance. The Transportation Bureau remains in deep financial trouble, even though parking revenues have increased year after year. Mayor Keith Wilson says he's confident that people will still come downtown and the city will continue to rebound even with these higher costs to park. Others, though, aren't as confident.
With that, and then also hit with the higher parking fees and probably higher ticket fees, it's a huge ding.
Coming up tonight on The Story at 6:30, KGW investigator Evan Watson takes a closer look at Portland's parking history, the rising cost to park in recent years, and why it might not stop with next month's increase.
Meantime, Oregon lawmakers are in the middle of a high-stakes debate over how to fund the future of transportation. Democrats' $1.9 billion transportation package includes a payroll tax increase, a new gas tax, and higher vehicle registration fees to fund transit and road repairs. For comparison here, Republicans' proposal from April doesn't raise taxes, but instead cuts around $730 million from programs like passenger rail, as well as bicycle and pedestrian paths.
Republicans' proposal provides accountability, it narrows the focus back to core mission, and it redirects existing taxes to be able to focus on roads.
Our transportation system is currently underinvested and has been disinvested for the past few decades. So unfortunately, we're going to have a conversation with Oregonians about what they're willing to invest in to ensure that we have roads that are not full of potholes, kids that can get to school safely.
Lawmakers have until the end of the legislative session on June 29th to reach a deal.
Clark County public health officials are warning people about Lacamas Lake. The basic message here: stay out of the lake. That's because of elevated levels of harmful algae. It can be especially harmful for young children and even deadly for small pets that drink the water. So health officials say people should avoid swimming in the lake and keep their pets out of the water. And if you boat or fish on the lake, they say to avoid the areas of scum and make sure that you clean your fish extremely well.
Fred Meyer Jr. Parade made its way through northeast Portland yesterday. It's the nation's oldest and largest children parade and has been going on since 1936. The parade kicked off at 52nd and Sandy, marched through the Hollywood district, and wrapped up at Grant High School. The Grant Marshal this year was Oregon's Kid Governor Rosie Lanenga, a 5th grader at Portland's Riverdale Grade School. And we have the Grand Floor Parade we need to talk about when it comes to weather.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's going to be getting warmer as we go to the weekend. So we wanted to headline with that, of course, Saturday. Saturday also a KGW weather impact alert day for the building warm weather that's coming in for now it looks like 3 days here, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The parade itself should be lovely, sunny, dry. That's always great, right? But getting warmer with temperatures inching into the lower 80s by the time the parade wraps up. It will continue warming from there. And so we've got 90s or close to it Saturday, mid-90s Sunday, and probably 90 degrees or so on Monday. A 3-day stretch of afternoon heat that you need to be prepared for. Again, the warmest weather that we've had so far this year, and it probably will get warmer, but this is the first kind of little dose of hot weather that I think a lot of us will have experienced this year. So stay hydrated. Don't overexert yourself out in the hot weather. I've got us close to 90 on Saturday, and then 94 degrees is my forecast for Sunday, and that's what we've been kind of staying with so far, but models have been trending upwards, and I did want to point out that 94 is the record high for Sunday, so pretty good chance we're going to tie or better that for the second half of the weekend. All right, that's a couple days from now. For now, where we get up to clouds. This is look at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the clouds banked up against the Cascades this morning. We are socked in down low, but up high, that cloud deck is pretty thin, and so it's going to erode from all directions. And so the clouds that we have out there this morning will disappear here by later this morning. It's 55 last check at PDX. You can see Futurecast, again, erodes the clouds from all directions. We finish off the day with sunshine and a nice looking day today with a high of about 82. Turns a little breezy in the afternoon as well. We tack on a few degrees for Friday, and then here comes the let's call it a 3-day mini heat wave here, where the afternoons are going to feel pretty toasty. Again, this is the warmest weather that we've had so far this year. Near 90 on Saturday, mid-90s on Sunday, and I think we get to 90 degrees on Monday before we cool it down back into the comfort zone for the middle of next week. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and we start off with the traffic map. I want to take you back out to Columbia County. I've been watching this crash on the Lewis and Clark Bridge. This is the ramp from southbound Lewis and Clark Bridge out of Longview getting onto westbound Highway 30. And you can see they've got the heavy equipment out there trying to move something off that ramp. So traffic may be scooting by on the shoulder here, but be on the lookout. There's obviously a bit of a, if nothing else, a visual distraction there. Back to the freeway drive through Westland. It is slow. I-205 southbound. This is at Highway 43. Puttering along at about 15, 18 miles an hour. The drive through Tualatin a little thick on I-5 as well. None of these drive times are way out of the ordinary, but it is a little slow here and there. Right now, the inbound Sunset's up to about 25 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. Drew, China?
All right, Chris, we have consumer headlines to get to this morning, and we start with this story. Private job creation slowed down in the U.S. during the month of May, hitting its lowest level in more than 2 years. A sign that a weakening labor market could be looming. According to the payroll processing firm ADP, only 37,000 jobs were added last month. This report, by the way, comes out 2 days before the Labor Department puts out its monthly jobs report. Big news from Apple, announcing several new features could be on the way for AirPods. They announced this at the Worldwide Developers Conference next week, or it's going to be announced, I should say, at next week's Worldwide Developers Conference. 9 to 5 Mac reports Apple may allow you to control your iPhone or iPad's camera with your AirPods by snapping a picture by tapping the stem. There will also be a sleep detection feature that would automatically pause whatever you're listening to when you fall asleep. That sounds pretty cool. All right, a lot of people using Venmo these days. Get this, Venmo users will now get 15% cash back on purchases made at major retailers using the Venmo debit card. Walmart and Sephora customers can also get 15%. Lyft is participating in this new cashback benefit. You can also get cash back on eligible purchases at McDonald's and Walgreens. All that again through the Venmo debit card. Venmo has more than 64 million active users in the U.S.
After years of waiting, the Nintendo Switch 2 finally here. Coming up in 2 minutes, we'll hear from people who lined up to get one. Sunrise streaming at 7 continues right after this.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pitawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back. Your time now is 7:46. It is the hot ticket item of the summer that has video game fans lining up for hours. We're talking about the newest version of Nintendo Switch. This is what it looked like at the Best Buy in Tanzborn on release day yesterday. People were lining up to get their hands on the new Nintendo Switch 2. People we talked to say that they waited years for the company to release the console and are more than ready to play with other gamers.
I'm just excited to get the new console. It's going to be a great time. Stay up a little late tonight. Got to work early, but it's worth it. You know, it's going to be fun to look back on this in 10, 20 years and be like, damn, I was here.
The Nintendo 2 Switch costs about $450 and includes a bigger screen, better controls, and faster processing speeds. According to Nintendo, as of March 31st, the original Nintendo Switch has sold over 152 million units. In-N-Out fans, listen up. The popular burger chain getting close to opening its new restaurant in Ridgefield. This will be their first location in Washington. Yesterday, crews put up the iconic arrow sign, and construction for the new restaurant is nearing the finishing line. Still no word yet on when exactly the Ridgefield location will open to the public.
All right, we are shining the sunrise spotlight this morning on a local craft brewery that created a new beer to support girls and women in sports across Oregon. She Flies Hazy. There you see it. It's the name of this new hazy pale ale crafted by Backwoods Brewing. I had a chance to give it a pour at the Backwoods Portland Tap Room over there in the Pearl District. So a portion of the beer sales will benefit She Flies. It's a statewide initiative from the people behind Sport Oregon. She Flies provides grants to local nonprofits that are focused on keeping girls active in sports, empowering female coaches, and promoting lifelong fitness for women.
She Flies launched in 2021. That was at a time when there was a lot of inequity being highlighted around women in sports. There's a lot of popularity around women now in sports. There's a lot of emerging sports that are being highlighted. Ultimate Frisbee, there's a women's team here in Oregon now. The WNBA is coming next summer to Portland, which is really exciting. So there's a lot of momentum around women in sports.
Me and my wife were at a Portland Thorns match, and we saw the She Flies initiative, and my wife was like, that is one, a really great name for a beer, and two, a really great organization. And so we reached out and brewed the beer.
She Flies Hazy is available at all 3 Backwoods Brewing locations. They have this spot in the Pearl District, they have a tap room in Hillsboro, and their original location is in Carson, Washington, over on the Washington side of the gorge.
It's a great place to hang out, by the way. They've got a lot of room out there. They got the barbecue pits going and stuff. I've been to that one.
I was wondering if you'd been there, and apparently they have like log cabins out there now that you can rent at the original Backwoods. Yeah. Yeah, so check
Love
that
it.
out. Backwoods Brewing and She Flies.
Heading to the gorge this weekend, anywhere, it's going to be warm, right? And so that's my headline here going into this weathercast is, yeah, we got the 90-degree heat stat map up here, so you know what's coming, right? So first off, climatologically, typically Portland hits our first 90-degree day in mid-June, coinciding with almost the start of summer, which this year is June 20th. June 18th, the typical first 90-degree day at PDX. Average number of 90s in any given June, 2. How many did we hit last year? 2. How many have we hit in the past? In 2015 and 2021, we had 9. The good news is, from this perspective, I do not see that kind of prolonged heat in our, let's say, our 14 to 20-day forecast. That's just kind of like looking out there. But in the short term, we do have some hot weather coming our way going into the weekend. So that's kind of the headline. We do have a KGW weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for 90 or near 90-degree heat. I'm not confident that we get there on Saturday, but we definitely will on Sunday and probably Monday as well. So a moderate PM heat risk, and just be aware that this is the warmest weather that we've had this year so far. It will get warmer likely, but this is the warmest stuff and the warmest stretch that we've had. So just don't overdo it out in the heat, stay hydrated, etc. I've got us at 89 on Saturday. Somebody might hit 90. 94 on Sunday, which, by the way, is the record, and there's a pretty good chance in some cases we exceed that. So here's a quick look at my 7-day forecast. And again, 3 days of heat, but it's short-lived. We back it back down. In fact, we back it way down middle of next week. We'll be back down in the 70s for highs on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. All right, in the short term, we are waking up to this. Clouds again up and down the I-5 corridor. And now that we're deeper into the morning, that's the benefit of being on live at 7 o'clock. Is that we've got more daylight, sunlight, shining down on the clouds, giving us the actual, like this is what you would see from space. Well, not the black imagery, but the clouds you would see. And what's really cool about this is that you can see the little nooks and crannies in the Cascades. That basically shows us where the tops of the cloud deck is right now, right around 2,500 feet or so. And you can see it here from Timberline. It is clear above. We're going to erode that cloud deck from all directions today, and Futurecast bears it out. We started at 55. It'll take a while, but once the clouds burn off, temperature should get a quick boost into the afternoon, and we finish the day with sunshine and a pretty good northwest breeze as well. You'll feel that later today as the sun comes out. Northwest winds gusting 18 to 22 miles an hour here in town. All right, the Thursday forecast, again, plenty of cloud cover this morning. That cloud cover erodes as we go into the afternoon. We'll shoot for about 82, 83 here in Portland. Futurecast likes upper 80s in the East Gorge today. And as I mentioned, we're all warming it up as we head into the weekend, topping out 94, maybe as warm as 96 on Sunday. Sunday's going to be the hot day of the 3-day stretch of heat coming our way. All right, let's get you out the door. A quick look at the roads, and I want to start off in Columbia County. Still dealing with this, well, I'll get to that. First off, the Banfield, I-84 westbound. There's a scheduled weekend closure that starts at midnight Saturday night through 4 p.m. Sunday. So a 16-hour closure of I-84 westbound from Gateway to I-5. So there's a lot of things going on. They're going to do some pothole repairs and some graffiti cleanup. It's kind of a multi-agency need here for the closure on westbound 84. So be prepared for that. Also, right now, that little, you see the spinning wrenches on my map indicating a disabled vehicle just past the Hollywood district. So we've got some pretty significant slowing now on inbound I-84. Another closure to tell you about this weekend, southbound 217. Again, the second in a series of 5 weekend closures planned for paving from 9 p.m. Friday until 5 o'clock on Monday. That'll be from Canyon Road to 99W. Drew?
All right, Chris, let's talk birthdays. We always require the first person on the list to have a big smile. And Aria delivers this morning. Aria celebrating birthday number 8. Happy birthday. Landon's up next, celebrating birthday number 9 with that LA Dodgers hat and another great smile. We've got Cara coming up after that. We don't know her birthday, though. She's smiling because she tricked us. Jennifer turns 50 today in Vancouver. Happy birthday. Tremaine is next, another person who did not share the actual birthday today. But Tremaine, we still love that smile, so we shout you out on the show. Rebecca turns 63 today. Happy birthday, Rebecca. And we cap things off with Bo. Look at Bo China, just hanging out, chilling in Baker City, celebrating birthday number 72. If you have a birthday you want us to shout out on the air, just send us an email. The address is birthdays@kgw.com.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
police are asking some people to stay inside their homes. We've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW+.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On weather impact alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Okay, here's a look at your 7-day forecast, and we are looking for the cloud cover to disappear as we go through the day today, and it'll turn breezy and warmer. We were 68 yesterday. China didn't like that, so we changed it to 82 this afternoon.
Yeah!
Yeah, it gets even warmer this weekend. All right, here's a look at your drive times, which are building on the freeway system this morning. There we go. Inbound 84. We had a disabled vehicle in the Hollywood district that has just moved out of the way, but 31 minutes now to get you in from Troutdale. And that, did you see how that banner changed from yellow to red? Highway 26, we're up to 26 minutes from Hillsborough to downtown.
All right, real quick mention about free fishing weekend in Oregon. It's happening this weekend, so that means Saturday and Sunday you do not need a license to catch fish, crab, clams, anywhere in the state of Oregon. It also means no combined angling tag and no endorsement needed. And there is another free fishing weekend coming up later this year as well, Thanksgiving weekend, November 28th and 29th. More details available at Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife's website. I do want to go back to that weather thing. I've been here a long time, almost 20 years. I did not realize all you had to do was request a specific weather condition and Chris would put it on the forecast. Because I'm thinking like 77 for a high, maybe 63 for a low every day for the foreseeable future. And if we need rain, it comes between midnight and 4 a.m.
No.
We can't do that, but the first part of your request happens next week. This is a short-lived little hot spike, and it's going to be hot. Sunday will be a hot day. We're talking mid-90s on Sunday, so China will be happy about that, and Drew will be happy about the extended forecast. There we go. We try to please everyone here.
It is the Chris and China show tomorrow, I do believe.
Yeah.
Rod's still off. I will not be here tomorrow, but Chris and China will get you into the weekend. A Friday edition of the Sunrise Show, streaming during the 7 o'clock hour, only here on KGW+. Check us out. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for finding us. And we hope to see you here tomorrow morning.